The events surrounding post-World War I Germany combined to form the perfect conditions for the rise of a new political powerhouse in Germany. Germany's economy was spiraling downward in an uncontrollable tailspin, and the Weimar Republic was failing to satisfy its people. Adolf Hitler, the new and determined leader of the Nationalsozialistische Deutsche Arbeiterpartei, or more commonly known as the Nazi Party, seized this opportunity. This small but ever-growing party was able to rally the support of many German citizens who called for change. When the Nazi Party took control of Germany in 1933, Hitler ruled with an iron fist for 11 years. He was able to consolidate his power more so than any other ruler to this date. How Hitler was able to consolidate his power on such a grand scale is a topic studied and debated by many historians. One of the most overlooked methods was his creation of the Hitlerjugend, or the Hitler Youth. At first, the Hitler Youth was an after-school program used to train boys to join the Nazi SA, or the Nazi stormtroopers. But eventually, it evolved into an organization dedicated to shaping the beliefs, thinking, and actions of the German youth.
The Hitler Youth was an organization formed by Hitler in 1926 as a method to teach Germany's future generations about the ideals of the Nazi Party. Essentially, it became a tool to consolidate his alleged 1,000-year Reich and brainwash the youth of Germany.
In 1937, entrance into the Hitler Youth was made mandatory by the Führer himself for every Aryan boy between 10 and 18. This bred a new ideological race of humans that embraced the Nazi policies. It created a sense of united community amongst the youth of Germany. There were several branches of the Hitler Youth, with the official Hitlerjugend being from ages 15 to 18, and the Deutsche Jungvolk for boys 10 to 14. These organizations were made to create the next Aryan supermen, with the goals of creating future soldiers willing to fight for the Third Reich. It emphasized physical and military training over academic development. In addition to the Hitler Youth, the Bund Deutscher Mädel, or the German League of Girls, aimed to create the ideal mothers for the fatherland. The date of Hitler Youth initiation was centered on April 20th, the Führer's birthday. The German children were usually very ecstatic to see the Führer in person. After the intense rallies and the radio-transmitted speeches, the children were influenced by the Nazi culture as soon as they were born. The Nazis would look for potential recruits into the organization. The requirements for initiation were very militaristic for boys and stressed the importance of strength and agility. And while females did not have to have athletic skill, they would also need to know how to handle household tasks, such as making a bed.
Erleben wir diese Stunde, die uns stolz und glücklich macht. Nach Ihrem Befehl, mein Führer, steht hier eine Jugend, die keine Klasse und keine Kaste kennt. Nach Ihnen formt sich die junge Generation unseres Volkes.
On November 6, 1933, Hitler proclaimed in his infamous quote about the Nazi youth, "When an opponent says, 'I will not come to your side,' I calmly say, 'Your child belongs to us already. You will pass on. Your descendants, however, now stand in a new camp. In a short time, they will know nothing but this new community." On December 18, 1934, Hitler declared that the principal task of the school is the education of the youth in the service of the nationhood and state of the National Socialist spirit. Curriculum from the Weimar Republic was rewritten to emphasize the key points of Nazi ideology. The classroom soon became a subconscious learning environment for the absorption of Nazi policy. Most all stories read in class focused on fighting, conflict, and anti-Jewish sentiment. Children who read these stories soon developed anti-Semitic views, as well as a love for war and militarism. The Nazi Party soon began manipulating German history in order to support the Nazi ideologies. German students were now taught that historically Germans were consistently superior to all other nationalities. The Nazi Party under Hitler ordered schools to label communists and Jews as deadly, devilish enemies that threatened the greatness of the German race. Under the Third Reich, the interpretation of the past was believed to justify the persecution and oppression of the present. As seen here in a political cartoon from the Poisonous Mushroom magazine, kids were taught at an early age to discriminate against Jews.
The Hitler Youth philosophy was extremely dedicated to their teachings. They believed in youth-to-youth teaching, and a lot of the meetings were home meetings, and they were in cellars and underneath the ground, so in this way that it would be far away from all adults.
The Hitler Youth was often utilized for propaganda purposes during the war. Kenneth Roberts, an American reporter, believed that Germany was overtaken by the Hitler Youth. He stated that the German youth is the Hitler Youth. Wherever you go in Germany, you see their mustard-colored uniforms and hear their heavy boots pounding on the cobbles. Clop, clop, clop. As Hitler began rearming Germany in preparation for World War II, 3 popular specialist groups were established: the Motor HJ, the Flyer HJ, and the Marine HJ. These 3 groups took on dominant roles during World War II. As part of their duty to serve, the Hitler Youth were required to attend 3-week summer infantry camps before serving in war. During the camps, boys were taught to be virtuous during warfare, as well as the skills needed to become a great soldier. Each week at camp was given a motto. Week 1, we fight. Week 2, we sacrifice. Week 3, we triumph. At each gate, a message was displayed and read, "As we are born to die for Germany."
In training for warfare, children were often taught the strategies of warfare through games. In the Hitler Youth, the strong would pick out the weak. It was an example of survival of the fittest.
Or even of 2 years ago. To be precise, this is training film photographed in the winter of 1944 and 45, when, by all ordinary standards, the Germans should be ready to quit. Germany cannot be defeated, their set faces say. Let the very old doubt. Let the seriously wounded and the mortally ill believe all is lost, but not they, the young people.
On the basis that the children of today are the soldiers of tomorrow, Hitler viewed Germany's youth with the needs of future war in mind. His intention was that Germany's youth generation should be both physically and mentally prepared.
The youth were expected to develop all characteristics of stormtroopers. The main goal was to turn the youth to lifelong Nazi supporters and then into soldiers.
There were various approaches to spread the influence of militarism on the German youth. One way was how the Nazi Teachers League would focus on stories about fighting and conflict. The German language instruction became a major vehicle for promoting militarism and love for war.
Towards the end of World War II, Hitler began using members of the Hitler Youth as reinforcement soldiers. These young boys were expected to fight alongside grown men. Those who died protecting Germany, which was considered one of the greatest honors. One activity for influencing militarism was familiarity with different types of weapons. Weapons trainings were immensely popular among the Hitler Youth boys. Overall, the Hitler Youth was one of the greatest propaganda tools of all time. If Germany would have been victorious in World War II, Hitler would have succeeded in creating a generation of people loyal to him and his party. The result of this could have been cataclysmic. Hitler's prophesized 1,000-year Reich could have become a reality. The Hitler Youth molded the way people viewed the Nazi Party from a young age. They viewed the world through a distorted glass and were bred to believe that the German way of life was superior to all.
Unser Tage ist die neue Zeit.